everyone, and welcome to our April Hope session, Storytelling for Resilience. I'm Heidi Parker. My pronouns are she, her. I am the Community Initiatives Manager, and I am your Zoom host today. This program is presented as part of our free Hope series, Healing Online for People Everywhere, which we created to support the resilience of our global community through social emotional arts. Each workshop offers a supportive space for connection, healing, and empowerment as we navigate the changes in our world. If you have previously attended a Hope session, welcome back. If you are new, thank you for joining today. We're grateful you're all here to create, learn, and grow together as a community. Today's program is in a meeting format, so please keep yourself muted until prompted otherwise. We are recording today's session in speaker view to be shared on our YouTube channel, and you are welcome to leave your cameras on as you feel comfortable, as we'd love for you to actively participate. Our session today is scheduled for 1.5 hours, and feel free to add questions in the chat as they arise or use the raise hand function. Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge the Tongva Nation, on whose home and land the unceded territory of Los Angeles resides. As we are reminded of our environment's vulnerabilities, we hold respect and gratitude for the Tongva people who still consider themselves the caretakers of this land. By their example, we are reminded of our responsibility to our planet and to one another. Let us reflect on and honor with gratitude the Indigenous communities of past and present on whose land you are joining from today. I'd like to welcome today's presenter. Alexis Polydorus leads experiential, creative, and therapeutic groups for adolescents and adults in clinical settings, as well as in private practice. Additionally, she teaches social emotional learning through the arts, co-facilitates a therapeutic theater group, and those diagnosed with Parkinson's disease leads drama therapy focus groups with an adolescent theater production program, and presents drama therapy workshops for the North American Drama Therapy Association. She received an MFA in theater directing from Columbia University as a Dean's Fellow and achieved her registration as a drama therapist from the North American Drama Therapy Association. Based in Los Angeles, she travels far and wide via Zoom and the vast freeway of Southern California. So I will turn it over to Alexis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm live. You can hear me. It's happening. We're here. Yes, look at all the people. Beautiful. Hi, everyone. And I'm just looking at all your lovely check-ins. So I'll say my name is Alexis and Polydorus. You pronounced it perfectly. My pronouns are actually she and they. So really either is fine. And I'm in Los Angeles, as it says. And something I'm grateful for. There's so much right now, but the thing that comes to mind is I'm grateful for great old songs. Recently saw the Bob Dylan movie. A little thin as a film, maybe wonderful if you worked on it. Congratulations. But there's the songs that connect me so much to different times and different people, and I'm just so grateful for it. Okay. So we have some people on screen, not a lot, but Laura and Christine and Danielle, you're going to get a lot of action from me because I see your faces and it's so nice. I love doing groups in person. I love doing groups online. I love talking about drama therapy. We got another one. Alice, hi. And I wonder, maybe just from those of you who I can see, or if you want to raise your hand or whatever, has anybody done drama therapy before? No. I'm seeing shakes, I'm seeing maybes, and I see some people I know who have done it before. So let me tell you a little bit about drama therapy, briefly. Oh, hi. Hi, fellow RDT. I see you. I see you in the chat. Drama therapy is the intentional use of theatrical techniques for therapeutic gains. And essentially what this means is anything that theater is, does, can be, I happen to think of as a lifelong theater person, is available to us. So that could be we're leaning into metaphor. That could be we're using storytelling or just our creative imagination to sort of get at stuff from a different perspective, a different door, a different entry point, maybe a different exit point, who knows. You don't have to do or say anything you don't want to. If this is, there's a stream of drama therapy, which is psychodrama. And that's maybe what I know I used to think of when I heard drama therapy. And I was like, oh God, no, I'm a theater person. And I was like, drama therapy, what do you mean? I have to get up and sit in a chair by myself and tell you all of my traumas? No, not necessarily. Maybe sometimes people do that. Maybe that's very effective. That's not what we're going to be doing today. For me, especially as a director and a writer and a theater thinker, I'm just interested in who's here now, what we're coming in with, what's in our minds, and also what stories we have to tell. And I like to say, you can tell me a story about a squirrel, or you can tell me a story about your recurring nightmare or your childhood experiences. And for me, it's all the same. It's all whatever you're coming in with today. So we have some things to do. You all probably heard, I'm going to give you a little like framework of what's happening today. I'm looking at the time. Beautiful. We might take a little bio break in like an hour or so, or a little bit less, because I'm used to 50-minute increments, equity breaks or drama therapy breaks. They're important. But if at any point you need to like have a bio break or take care of yourself, get some water, get a different pen because this one isn't working, please do that. Take care of yourself. We're going to do a bit of a check-in. And since we're a big group and we're online, I'm mainly going to narrate that check-in, and you can participate as fully as you can and you want to. We might do a little bit of movement. We might do a little bit of a guided meditation. And then we're going to do an activity that is called 6-part story making. And this is, I'll talk about it more in a minute. Well, no, I'll talk about it more. Anyway, it's a drama therapy assessment tool. I'm not actually assessing you. It's an activity that I find to be really interesting. I've done it 1,000 times and it's always a little bit different. And all we need for it is a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. That's really it. And even if those things are not available to you for accessibility reasons or otherwise, you can do it in your head, really. And then we're going to talk about it a little bit and see where it leads. And then at the end, so there'll be an invitation to share. You're welcome to share in the chat. You're welcome to share out loud. You're welcome to share in your journal with yourself later and not tell us anything about it. Totally fine. This is for you. And then we'll have some sort of closure ritual or moment. That's the plan for today. I wonder, does anybody have any questions before we start? I mean, like, you're allowed to have questions. You can raise your hand or put it in the chat. I'm going to take a sip of water. Great. Then we fly. All right. A bit of mindful movement. I give you direction or guidance as suggestions. Do what feels right for you and make any adjustments as you need. So I like to say, sitting in your chair, feet flat on the ground. Lower your chair a little bit if you need to. There we go. And hands just sort of comfortably on your legs or to the side or on your chair arm, really whatever feels right. Eyes closed or open, maybe not intensely at the screen, looking at the names of other people and the possible faces and wondering and having that take you down that road. So maybe just looking off or looking down. I like to do a soft focus. So I can see the screen. I know there's people here. I know where I am. I'm not really focusing on anything in particular. Yeah, just slow down for a second. Give us a moment to arrive here in this place from the vast and varied places we might have been previous to this, physically, emotionally, physically, all psychologically, all that. Maybe, I don't know. So many of these groups, we tell each other how to breathe. Maybe just notice your breath. Notice where it's living. I notice mine's a little bit high. I'm excited. I'm a little thirsty. So I'm noticing a dry throat. So just sort of notice. Are you super settled in? Is it breath going all the way down to your belly? Is it just living up in your face? Is there anything you want to do to adjust it? Anything that would feel better? I like to sigh. Sighing, yawning, laughing, crying. It's all welcome here. I strive to make these places, whether they're physical or virtual, individual or group, places of non-judgment and allowance for yourself. What we do and say here, I like to say nothing about us without us, right? So we can talk about our experience outside of this group, but we maintain some sort of confidentiality where we're not saying, did you know that Anna from Mexico, New Mexico, Amy from New Mexico, you get the idea. Maybe one deep breath in and then a big sigh. Great. And you can slowly open your eyes if they're closed. And I'm starting with the top of my head. I'm kind of chewing around. I've got a big gum, waking up the face a little bit. If you've got the space and the ability, you might want to do a little horse trill, a vocal warm up, little. This is one of the things I love about drama therapy. I was, studying drama therapy after years of theater. And then there's these physical things that we can do to help alleviate anxiety, like we've been doing that in drama for years. Okay. And now just let's continue this head led movement and just look to the side. So we're starting to loosen up the neck a little bit and look to the other side. You could do it in an 8 count if you're that kind of folk. And the side, and then the other side. And along the way, you might notice different things. Spot on the wall, cobweb, sleeping dog. Just sort of let your awareness drop into this place. Look up, look down, look up, look down. Yeah. And then maybe the shoulders go back, a little roll of the shoulders. And this kind of movement, this sort of warm up, in the creative arts therapies, especially the experiential therapies, experiential groups, we like to put in, and go forward if you've been going back, like to put in a little bit of embodiment. I know it's tricky. It's tricky on Zoom. Together, we could all get down into it. Sometimes in a group, nobody wants to move, even in person. And that's fine too. But I offer you these things just as a way to, again, locate yourself in place and time here. Maybe reach up. Let's reach up. I like to roll the wrists around a little bit. Maybe to the side, maybe to the other side. Maybe over the head like this, right? This is like PE from middle school. It's all about pulling from whatever experiences you have that seem to work for you a little bit. And if it doesn't, don't do it. This one, noticing if you're like, so I'm pulling my arm over like this. If your shoulder's up like that, maybe just a little reminder to yourself, just like boop, down. And this one over here. And then maybe a whole body twist. To the right, to the left. Try to engage this bilateral movement, this right, left, crossing the midline, good for our brain, waking up the creative access, getting out of that fight, flight mode, all these things. Then one of my favorites is, let's see if I can, I wish I could zoom out. Elbows on knees, resting on knees. This is a variation of like a yoga forward fold, which is supposed to be, or maybe I've heard, one of the more regulating positions. I noticed recently in a waiting room, this was very useful to me. So I'm just elbows on knees, head down, giving our bodies and our minds just an experience of this, turning off the high alert, resting for a moment. Checking out that breath again. Good, and that's it. And then we're coming back up. I don't know, might bring up a leg, bring up a knee, roll a foot around. You don't have to bring it up as high as I did. I was just showing you, but I appreciate it. And the other one, getting that blood going to all the extremities. Good. And maybe even a little shake of the hands. Again, this is one of those things that, you read an article in the New York Times that, shaking out the hands can really help alleviate anxiety. Right, we knew that. Getting out anger, if you really want to do a whole body shaking, I mean, that's a whole nother session, but maybe we'll get there. Okay. All right. Next step. If there's anything that I didn't do that you feel like your body really wants right now, go ahead and do that for like 10 seconds. Yeah, more neck stuff. Maybe stand up for a second. Kick it out. Shake it out. Uh-huh. Good. I appreciate any participation. Sip of water if you need it. Okay. I'm going to take you through a brief guided meditation. Brief. Based on probably things you've done before, and maybe you've done exactly this, but I'm gonna twist it a little bit, and it's for a different purpose than just meditation. We're trying to access some creative juices here. So again, feet flat on the floor. Find it very grounding, personally. Eyes closed or just down from the screen. Soft focus. I'm going to give you some suggestions about things to imagine in your mind. See if that works for you. If it doesn't, do what you need to do. So just try to stay present here. Imagine you're walking down a path. Notice the sound of your feet on this path. Notice the things you see around you. What's something you might hear walking down this path? Maybe this is a path you've been on before. Maybe you never have. Maybe a path just occurred to you that you've never thought you'd think about. That's fine. Go with it. Maybe it's a path you always think about when somebody says, imagine you're walking down a path. I know mine is. Are there smells? Is there even a taste? Something being sold on the side of the path, or a plant that you might pick and chew? If you reach your hand out, are there things that you touch? Right? So really just engaging those senses to see, where are you? Up ahead, you see a bench or a seat or a curb or somewhere to sit. And you sit. And you notice the sights and the sounds and the smells and the taste and the feel, the touch, but also how you feel in this place. Maybe it's a happy place. Maybe it's a safe place. Maybe it's your meditation place. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's, again, something you never imagined imagining. See if you can just kind of go with it. Or if you don't like it, change it. Let's see how that place is. Sights, sounds, staying connected to the sensory input. There's a whole journey we could go on together here from this place. And yet we're going to take a different path. So I invite you to take another deep breath. Start to see this happy place fade away a bit. A slow blackout or whiteout or brown, I don't know, whatever. The curtain falls. And then give your fingers and toes a bit of a wiggle. Bring yourself back to this chair in this space and slowly open your eyes. Join us again. Maybe some of us imagined this place. Maybe some of us drew it or wrote it down or wrote a description. I know mine is kind of always the same. which is, I'm annoyed at myself for that. I try to intentionally change it sometimes, but it's like a pebbly path and I can hear it. I can like reach out and eat mint on the side of the thing and it's a park bench and it's on the ocean. I don't know. It's always the same for me. So here's the next part. You all maybe have, it was suggested that you have a blank piece of paper. Do you have a blank piece of paper? Computer paper. I mean, it can be lined, I guess. It can be small, it can be big. I like this, and what I'm going to do is, it's helpful if it's this size. 6-part story making. How much do you want to know about it? I could tell you lots about it. Maybe at the end, if you have questions, we can talk about where it came from, who it came from. I'll just say it was first sort of manualized by a psychotherapist, Muli Lahad, who really liked drama therapy. So we really like him. 6-part story making. Again, with all of this, you see sort of how I'm talking about things today. Whatever comes, comes. If you like it, go with it. If you don't like it, don't go with it, right? You're in control here. So there is no right or wrong. There's just the experience, right? And you get to guide that. We need to divide this piece of paper into 6 parts. So that can be derp, derp, derp with a pen, or as one of my teenage clients showed me years ago, and I thought was so smart, take the piece of paper, fold it in half lengthways, or the hot dog way, as they say. So that way. And then, right, fold it over the hamburger way. So it's going to be in thirds. Let's make sure I did it right. I always doubt myself. Some nice creases. Yeah. And then so when you open it up, you have 6 boxes. Again, you can do 6 bubbles. You can do 6 different Post-it notes, 6 different sheets of paper, whatever works. So in the interest of like letting the creative flow happen and not overthink it and just be a part of the process, I'm going to guide you through this process. Let's see. I'm going to pick a middle speed. I'm not going to do it really quick. I'm not going to do it forever. I'm going to try to find somewhere in the middle. And what that means is I'm going to give you directions or instructions for each step. If you feel like I'm not done with the step and I've moved on, that's okay. You're going to have time to go back over it. But let's see if we can sort of find this middle speed together and yeah. Let's just see. Okay. In each of these boxes, you are invited to put drawing, simple sketches, elaborate drawings, whatever you're into, writing, words, symbols into each box. For example, the first one, I'll tell you, we're telling a story. A story about what? I don't know. We'll see. We're telling the story one bit at a time, and then we're going to look at the whole thing, see what's going on. So the first box, you don't have to do this, but I always like to number it. I put 1, and then I'm going to put the word of the instruction, which is location. So, like we've already seen, in this box, draw, write, images, symbols, words, the location. So we're telling a story about a main character, who knows who that is yet, in a space, in a place. Where does the story take place? What comes to mind? Maybe it's based on inspired by the meditation we just did. Maybe it's that bench overlooking the ocean cliffs. Maybe it's Golden Gate Park. So you can pull from what work you've already done, or you can make something entirely new. If you're like, I don't want to do a story about an autumn in the woods, although that sounds like a good story. Sounds refreshing. And again, you can feel free of the burden. You don't have to show this to anybody. You can. I will invite you to. You don't have to. So if you feel like you don't want to draw and show it to people because you're really shy about your drawing, you don't have to. If you want to like take a chance and show your drawings, please do. If you'd rather just write, see what that's like. I like to do a combination. If you have questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Again, see if we can treat ourselves as non-judgmentally, not planning, as spontaneously as we can. These are the two pillars of drama therapy: improvisation and spontaneity. I'm going to stop talking for a second. Give you a couple minutes here. The location of a story. Where does it take place? I'm going to keep a record of the different titles for the boxes in the chat. So number one, boop, location. Just like another minute or so on location, as much detail or color as you want. And as you're working on this location, and maybe it's already happened and we tend to do it anyway in our minds, start thinking about who the main character of the story is. Maybe it's you, maybe it's a version of you, maybe it's a wizard or a cat. There's a main character of this story. Maybe they're represented in your picture of the location or not. I typically don't do that. The second one, there, I'm moving forward. Whew, it's always scary. But I see that some people maybe are done with that part. And if you're not, don't worry, you can come back to it. I'll give you time at the end. Number two, the location. Thinking about the main character. What's the goal of the main character? What's the wish, the aspiration, the thing that the main character wants more than anything, right? Their quest. View. So again, the goal. How do you represent the goal? Maybe it's the first thing that comes to mind. Maybe it's a deep goal that you know you have and you want to explore right here. Maybe it has nothing to do with any of your goals. So you think. How do you represent that in images, symbols, words? Again, as free of judgment as possible, or notice the judgment and let it go. Not planning it, not even really trying to figure it out. whatever it is. What's the goal? Main character in a place has a goal. Okay, next one. Ooh, look how fast that's going. I learned this one way, and now I'm reteaching myself. Yeah, let's do it. Location, goal. It's really hard for me to change. Maybe I'll give you the option. So traditionally, it's location, goal, and then number 3 is helper or guide. Okay. So who or what helps the main character in trying to achieve this goal? Now, I'll give you a little preview. 4 or 3 is obstacle. If it helps you, I think it's because in my storytelling mind, I want to know where and who and what it is and what the problem is, and then I want to figure out the problem. So you could do guide for number 3 or obstacle. How's that? I'm going to try this time to actually do guide and then obstacle. But if that doesn't make sense to you for some reason, switch it. Notice I'm not a purist. So if you're doing guide is like, it can be that wizard I mentioned from earlier. It can be an animal. It can be a great aunt, an ancestor, a child, really whoever. Again, based on somebody in your actual life or not, or who knows. And if you're just joining us, I see that someone just joined. We are doing 6-part story making after a little mindful movement and guided meditation. And 6-part story making has us separating a piece of paper into 6 sections and then filling in each section with words, images, or drawings to fill out that part of the story, whatever the story may be. You notice mine is quite simple. The first one is location. Where does the story take place? The second one is goal. What is the goal of the main character? The third one is guide. Who helps the main character? Who acts as a guide or support? And the fourth one is obstacle. What is getting in the way? What stands between the main character and their goal? Try not to judge your own drawing. Try to draw an owl. Now it looks like a dog. It's okay. I know what I mean. Location, goal, guide, obstacle. And number 5 is, I like to say, special skill, superpower, coping mechanism, I guess. It's a little less romantic, but no less useful, of the main character. So the main character is in a place, they've got a goal, they've got somebody helping them, but there's a huge obstacle. They're not sure how to get through. What in themselves can they draw upon? A skill, a talent, a secret superpower, um, you know, a coping skill, marathon tea drinker, really anything. So special skill, I'm going to call it. Trying to type in the chat. Location, goal, guide. And then the final one, in case you're curious, is, yeah, and then what? Oops, what? How does it end? What happens? Does the main character achieve their goal? Do they not? Does a spaceship land? And what? I don't know. Whatever. What happens next? Do we know? ... To be continued. How do you end this story? And in the end, hmm. Okay, just surprised myself with my own ending. So anybody who is new or just a refresher, 6-part story making, we're making a story. It's a spontaneous story coming from a place of improvisation and and here and nowness. It's a story that takes place in a specific location. There's a main character who has a goal. This main character has a guide, someone who's trying to help them on their journey. But there's a huge obstacle in the way, and the main character must dig deep and use their own special skill, hidden talent, superpower, coping skills in trying to achieve the goal. And in the end, something happens. What happens? Okay, where are we? 12:47. Cool, cool. Let's take like 3 minutes until 12:50 to finish up your story. Maybe there's a particular box frame that's calling to you for a little more detail, a little more attention. Maybe you just want to sit with it and look at it. Maybe you want to imagine it in your mind. Maybe you want to take a break from it for 2 minutes. That's also fine. And as you're doing these things, one or all of these things, oh, cat, open the door. Close the door. If this story, which maybe you know exactly what's going on or you're very surprised by what's on this piece of paper, had a title, what would the title be? See, maybe the first title you're like, nah, that's not it. You know, really a title, like a good book. It's telling you something about the story, but it's also inviting you to want to know more about the story. So what would your title for this story be? And maybe you want to write that on your page here, or just know it in your mind, or write it somewhere else if you don't want to mess up your drawing. Title's tough. Got it. Did you get it? It can be cheesy. We love cheesy. One of my esteemed drama teachers or theater director mentors, she always said, don't be afraid of the stupid story or the simple story. And that, you know, through stereotype, we kind of get to some truths. So don't be afraid of stereotype in yourself, in your story. Just come back together with a good old breathing thing. Let's do a breathing thing. If you've got one you like, do it. I like to share 4, 7, 8, right? Breathing in for 4 counts, holding it for 7, out for 8. Yeah, I like that one. Okay. Feet flat on the floor. I'm going to do that one 2 more times. Join me if you want. Breathing in for 4, holding for 7, or just longer than 4, and then out for basically twice as long as the inhale, right? In kind of short, hold, and out again. This is what might be called a calming breath. And then an energizing breath would be the sort of flip side of it. So like in for 8, hold for 7, out for 4. All the different ways that we can use our breath. Right? I mean, that's this kind of work, I believe, meets you where you need to be, right? And so it's wonderful. It can be so many different things for different people. You know, that the title of this session and so much of the 6-part story making is about resiliency and identifying coping skills and this and that, and like for sure that's in here. If we had more time or another session, I mean, it's hard, right? I come up with a plan, but I'm just so much more interested in what's happening for you rather than what is in my mind. But I'll tell you, my plan was, or, you know, the possibility would be, okay, let's look at that number 5 and that special skill, that coping skill, that secret power, and like dig into that a little bit. You know, some practitioners say like, what's in your coping case? You know, like what, what are the skills that you have? But I'm really curious about like, identifying the strengths that you have and what you already know and you know how to do, and what one person or one group might see as a weakness, something like compassion or empathy, to realize that that actually is a real superpower. And then to ask the question, how can I grow that more? How can I strengthen that? How can I support that? When does my empathy or my compassion or my whatever it is, my ability to see or intuit, when does it become endangered, or when does it drain more than it sustains? Lots and lots of questions to ask. Checking the chat. Fantastic. Before we leave today, any other questions? Any questions for me? My name is Alexis Polydorus, right? That's in the materials that you signed up for here. My last name is not here. If you can spell it, you can find me. You're welcome to visit my website or email me, alexispolydorus@gmail.com. If you can spell it, you can find it, and I'll put it in the chat. And what was I going to say? I don't know. Do with this what you will. Continue working on this. Turn it into a children's story. Burn it in a ritualistic fire. Like whatever works for you with this. Hide it away. Look at it in a week and go, what the heck was that about? But if you want to just take a moment now, eyes open, we can stay present here. Take a breath. I like a sigh. I always like to end with a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of something, a little bit of acknowledgement for someone. Could be yourself, could be someone in this group, could be someone outside of this room that we're in together. You just would like to a little thought, a little love, a little something towards. And hold that person or that entity or that idea in your mind for a moment. Breathe into it. Could be somebody you just met here today in the session. I am very grateful for this time with you. I love when a big group of people can feel really intimate, and I feel like we heard some great stories today. If you could do the, what is it? Survey, that would be great. If you have any other questions, please ask. Otherwise, it's 1:29. It's time to go back to your thing. But thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Alexis, for leading us through this amazing storytelling session. Thank you all for joining us today. We'd like to extend our appreciation for our donors and the LA Department of Arts and Culture who make the Hope series possible. Please be lookout for that follow-up email that will also include the survey link that was in the chat. And then before we go, just a few upcoming workshops. Next month's Hope is co-presented with LACMA. There's also LA Opera Arts and Health Week is coming up in June. We will have a Hope session that week, as well as The summit is free and anyone can attend that if arts and health is of interest to you. There is more information at laopera.org/summit, and you are welcome to check that out. And then we also have our upcoming trainings for Dance for All, Beat the Odds, and our application deadline for the online certificate program is May 2nd. So there's still time if there is interest in that. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. We look forward to seeing you in a future workshop and happy spring. So
Happy
thank you,
spring.
everyone.